Good morning, Judy here from Thistledew Creations, and today I'm going to try something new that I haven't seen. It's probably been done, but I haven't seen it done. I showed you in a recent video how I make my own cards to put torn strips of fabric and ribbons and laces on by using my scalloped circle punch and my 2-inch circle punch to make these kind of like apple core looking cards. And I put lace and ribbons on them like this. I also do smaller ones with just whale tail tabs. That's what this one is, just not folded. So it'd be like one of these, and then just wrap the smaller string or ribbon around it. But today what I thought I would show you is, because I'm taking all of my laces and ribbons off of these spools and putting them on these cards, I've been saving these. Now, I didn't save every single one. I did about 100 spools and put them onto cards during the summer, and I didn't save them all. But since I did that first initial reorganization, which I did out on the patio, and I didn't film any of it, I've started to save them since then. So what I want to do today is alter one and do it just like we alter trading cards and index cards and alter playing cards, and index cards and other things. I want to do one of these. So I chose this turquoise one because it's my favorite color. So this little bin is just all little circle things that I've saved. So when I'm working with whatever, a lot of it's cardstock, I will punch out circles with the scraps and save them for either centers for flowers or, maybe just do a circle themed page sometime. So that's what this little bin is. So I pulled this out of here. So I had this ribbon end from the spool, and you can see I just sort of tore it off of the center tube. It's got a rough spot here, which I might need to go at with something to get that bit of glue off. That's just the end of my letter opener. Everything is a tool, right? And so this is kind of a rough backside. I do want to save some of this turquoise that's peeking. I want to leave that peeking out. But on the backside here, this is just out of a magazine. Just some picture of some ceramic tiles. It was probably a backsplash or a shower wall. And I'm just going to use that as the backing for it. I might have used coffee dyed paper or some other scrapbook paper. You can use anything, but I already had this scallop in this box, so I thought I would use it, and it'll just cover up this backside, which is a little rough for what I'm wanting to do. And I'm going to give this a good bit of glue stick, and then I'm going to put, this is a little bit bigger than this, so I'm going to put what am I trying to say? I'm going to put the tacky glue on this disc. And this is basically just to cover the back. If you want it grungy, you don't have to cover the back. You could leave it. I'm thinking this will be a place to write or just a cleaner looking back. One or the other. You could use this as a place to write a little poem in a circle or a message in a circle. I don't have them on right now, but the rings that I normally wear, my husband and I aren't married. We've lived together for over 35 years. So we're married, but we never had a wedding. Let's say that. But one summer when we were at our cottage, our trailer, we went to my favorite little gift shop in the town where we were, Grumbling Grannies in Barry's Bay, Ontario. And we were there with my sister-in-law and her boyfriend at the time. And we were just shopping around in the town. I don't know if it was a rainy day or I think it must have been, because we don't usually spend a lot of time in town unless it's bad weather day. But anyway, we were up in town and we were shopping around the little gift shops and the shoe store and all our favorite places to go. And we went to Grumbling Granny's. And I saw these rings at the cash desk when I was checking out, and they were like a spiral. And they were like this chunky silver rings, not a dainty ring. So I called Brian over and I said, let's get rings. Like, we've been together like 30 some years and we don't have rings. So we purchased these 2 matching rings, and they're like a spiral. I wish I had them with me because it just came to my mind. I haven't had them on in a little while, but you might have seen them in my other videos, Anyway, so we both got matching rings that day, and it just felt kind of nice to have something to say, yeah, you're mine and I'm yours, and we don't need a diamond. I just wanted a ring. So I don't even know why I started talking. Oh, because of because it's a circle, it's a ring. And what I was thinking was I could write a little love note in a spiral to him. So maybe I'll do that on the back side here. Anyway, it's a little bit bubbly right now. I used a fair bit of glue. You can always press that down with your bone folder or a credit card. I've got Canadian Tire Triangle rewards card here. I'm supposed to be registering that card. I haven't done it yet. I think I'll just use it as a scraper. So that just sort of gets some of those bubbles out. Spreads the glue around beneath the paper. Some of it's coming out along the edge, so I probably had a little bit too much in there, but at least I know it's glued right down to the edge. That's a good tool for that. It's just the right firmness. And then on the front, I'm not going to decorate the back right now. Like I said, I might write my little love note on it, but I want to decorate the front. And I do have this little tab, so I thought I would make it, you know, something a little more than just a circle, depending on how much I decorate the front. So let's start with, let's try to use what's at arm's reach, like Brenda Clark does. I've got doilies. So again, I don't want to cover the whole front of this, but let's put this doily over the edge here. And what I could do is get that same punch, which is pretty handy close by here. I think it's 3.5. Let me see, I've got a 3 and a 3.5. I bought these both off of Facebook Marketplace. This one's Marvi. They're both Marvi Uchida, Uchida. I've never heard of it. So it is the 3.5. And what I'll do is I will just take a chunk out of this. Went flying. And I'll line that up with the edge like that. And I can do that with a few different papers, but leaving the blue showing. It's my favorite color. So I'll start with this one. I want to ink it. And because I've got the blue, I'm going to ink it with my carved jade. And I did leave my carved jade. I thought I did. Just ink these edges a bit. I can always do that after too, but I want to ink these inner edges too, not leave it pure white. Probably should leave that handy. I'm probably going to use it again. And then this kind of has a good side and a bad side, so I will put a little bit of glue stick on the back side. We'll call it the bad side. We'll call it the back side. gently. Kind of fills up the holes. You have to be kind of careful. But you see it leaves it behind. And then I'm just going to do this up here. I've got to make sure I line up my scallops unless I want it to look really ruffly. So there's that. Put down. And it looks like it's going to try to lift up. So I'll give it a minute to just dry. And if I feel like I need to, I'll put some tacky glue around the edges. I probably will put some tacky glue around the edges. And then what other things do I have handy here? I've got some little labels. There's kind of a romantic looking label that I could use. And again, I figure out where I want it. If I want this flower down covering this, how would I do that? I could do it this way and have my scallop here. So I'm just gonna see, have I got a pencil handy? Yeah. Just kind of give myself a bit of a guideline of where I want that scallop. And this says, thank you for finding me in the corner. I don't know if that has any kind of meaning for us, but thank you for finding me for sure. And then I'm not going to go, well, I am going to follow the scallop, so it's not going to be straight, but that's okay. I could even go further off like this, just to make it more random feeling. And I can cover, actually maybe I'll cover this underneath it before I glue it down. So I've got a little purple flower here that can go, or actually that could go over top. And then I could leave some of this writing so you know what it is. Because I've had that comment before on the altered playing cards. Some people, they alter them so much you can't even tell it was a playing card. I like to see what it was. I just don't want to see a barcode, that's all. So I'm going to put this off kilter like that. I might put something else there, but I want to leave that description of yardage. And I think this is a sticker. This is not. So I will, actually what I'm going to try to do here is pick up some of this glue, hasn't dried yet, and use it. And then figure out where I want this. And I think I would like that hole exposed. So I'll have to figure out how to do that. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll put something in the middle. I know what I can put in the middle. It might lead me into my next video. Okay, so that, and then this is a sticker. I want to ink it, but not with the blue. I'll ink it with Vintage Photo. Anything with white edges, I just can't. Unless it's a really, really clean design I'm doing, I want my edges inked. And I find that some people fussy cut them right off. I don't think I would have the patience for that. I mean, I could, if I was watching TV, hanging in my hammock, I could see myself doing it. If I got a pack of stickers that I absolutely loved but needed to not have the edge for some reason, like maybe botanicals or something, where I want to put them against book page or music and I don't want to see that it's a sticker, I could see myself doing it, but for the most part I don't do it. I just ink them, and I find that that helps it blend in. Now I'm doing this and I don't think it is a sticker. Sometimes you think it is, and then you can't get the backing off and you realize it isn't. No, I think it's just paper. So down it goes. I'm still happy I inked the edge, so it's not a big deal. fair bit of tacky glue on that. It probably doesn't need that much. So I'm gonna have that kind of overlapping and overlapping the center too. Leaving this not completely uncovered, but uncovered. And then over here, what do I want to do? I was going to use this tab too, but I'm not sure that I will. It's kind of an odd shape for a tab. Maybe a whale tail tab would be okay if I had one the right color. Yeah, it would look cute with a whale tail tab. This is too big to be what would be called an artist trading coin. They have to be 2.5, I think, so that they'll fit in the card protector sheets. I stood up to get something. Oh, and whale tails. I know I've got some whale tails in some colors. I'll have to figure out some other way to use this. It was just a circle that had the piece of cardboard, I think was a fold over top from a package. So it already had that crease in it. So I thought I could use it as a tab, but I'm not liking the shape. But I do have this other box of whale tail tabs that's all sorts of packaging patterns. Let's just see if we have, I think these ones are all kind of non-pretty. They're just packaging that I didn't think was pretty enough to fussy cut. So maybe I'll just use a brown one. Oh, that one's not bad. I have another one of those. It's kind of just looks like a fabric. I think it was off of Triscuits. So maybe I'll use that one. Gives me a beige element and I can ink it whatever color I want. I could ink it with that turquoise again. And then I've got, while I was up, I grabbed this little pouch with some small little die cuts. So I've got a B for Brian and a J for Judy. We won't put it as BJ, we'll do it as JB. And I could find, if I have an anthracite or a plus, I would use that too. But I could also use a little heart. I think my Valentine stuff is already put away. Okay, so what was I thinking? I was thinking the whale tail tab. Inked with blue. And I think, do I want an up and down on this? I think I don't, but this writing makes me think I should have it this way. So I could put the tab up here. But it also would be cute off to the side, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do it off to the side. And let's ink while we can the bottom edge. I could change the color of the whole thing, really. Kind of cracked. It tried to fold away from the where it's supposed to, so it has a bit of a crack there. I might put something over top of that too. So I think I'm going to put it here, but I think I want something else underneath it first. So let's put something like that. Maybe the fancy edge sticking out. Just kind of covering up those letters a little bit. This I'll just ink the very edges, just so it's not white on the edges, and it'll change the color from that powdery blue to more of a teal. Now, placement. I want this about there. So I want this about there. And for these, I just usually glue the whole thing. And then on the other side, you really only have to glue down here, or else you'll end up with way too much glue the way I glue. And then that just goes kind of on the edge like that, and leave the tab sticking out. I just saw a Facebook post this morning asking if you do it this way or if you do it this way. And to me, that's not a tab at all. It's supposed to be a tab sticking off the page. So if anyone saw that post, that's my answer. I never answered on the post. I don't think that one is much of a debate, really. It's supposed to be a tab. It should be a tab. And then while I was up, I also grabbed this little, it's mostly string, this little container, but it does have this strip of purple fabric in it. So I'm going to pull the fabric out of the string container because I don't really want it in there. But I thought I might use a little piece of it. And I'm just wondering if I have some blue string, and I think I do. Yeah, I've got this blue string from when I tore up some sheets. And it left me, it was blue roses, so it left me with this pale blue string. So I will use that just by simply cutting off a little bit of it. And I'm going to layer it underneath something. I don't know what yet, but I like to do that and have the strings poking out. I could have probably put it under that flower. I wonder if it's too late. No, it'll lift. So I can put this coming out towards the middle here under the flower. And then I might need more glue on the flower, but we'll see. Gives it sort of a fuzzy center. And then while I've got this up, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut just a couple of little, I'm going to angle the ends here. I mean, this is a great place to use up all your snippets that are already little. But if you could see my desk, I mean, I couldn't possibly stop and find something right now, so I'll just cut something. And where would I like that? Actually, maybe up here on the tab to cover up that. That's already kind of a frayed edge, so I think I'm going to just fray it some more. Just so that the purple part isn't quite as wide, because the frayed part is more white. Fray the ends a bit. This inner edge is also frayed. And I'm just going to put a bit of glue down on this crack in the cardboard and cover that up. And then maybe another little flower on top of that or something. See what I find. And then what will I do with these letters? Ink the edges just so they're not white. I'm going to put maybe on top of the doily. Because it'll show up. You notice I'm not even re-inking this. I'm just using whatever ink's already on the blender. I'm going to leave the bee far enough away that I can put a heart in between when I find one. I'm going to put that over top of the string. And then think that's it for the little die cuts that I want to use. Put them back. And I don't know if I'll be able to find a heart. Oh, I found another little flower. I can use that up here or here. What would I do to make that cute? I know what I'll do. Something I saw, I think it was last night. I'm gonna put it up here, even though it's purple on purple. Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna put it here. And what I'm going to put in the middle, anyone have any guesses? I'm going to put in the middle of that flower. Let me know in the comments what you think I'm grabbing for. Button, button. Who's got the button? I've got a pink button. I'm just wondering if I have a heart button. If I do, I probably have it tucked somewhere safe where I will be able to find it. Obviously not able to find it right now. Let's go ahead and use the pink one. I use these vintage, I think they were jam jars. I use them for my buttons and other little things. I just love these old vintage jars. So let's put this button down in the middle here. A little bit more glue. And just place that on top there and press it in. Doesn't have to be a heart. We know we love each other. Now I need something else for up here where I took it away from. I think it needs something. I've got a sticker here that is script. And it looks like rose petals. What is love but an emotion so strong and so pure that nurtured and shared with another, all tests it will endure. Let's use that. It's obviously part of a bigger sticker, but I'm going to just cut that little quote off. Looking for my scissors. The very first part of it. All tests it will endure. And I'm going to kind of do it, cut it kind of wavy like the other edges. Now this is going to be difficult. It's definitely a sticker. It's a question of whether I can get it started. Such a small piece especially. Let's just test it here first, make sure that's where I want it. Looks like maybe I would prefer to cover that up, but it just fits there. Let's do it. I do have a pokey tool that I can use if I need to, but there, I got it. I'm going to put that kind of crooked so that it fits. And then maybe another little button up there too. This has to be a pretty small one. Maybe a blue one. No, it won't work because I'm going to cover up too much of the quote unless I move that and glue it, because now it's not as sticky. Move that down. so that I have room for that or something. I might look for a smaller one here. Got a small mauve one. That'll be better. I like to have kind of 3 elements in little clusters. So here I might need one more little thing. That needs some more glue. It's sticking up. Just a little dab on each of those petals. And I like the way that tab, I mean, you still can tell it's a whale tail tab, but it's got that wispy, fringy edge. And we've got this string in the middle. You can tell what it is if you're looking. And let's ink the edges with the blue. And I'm not re-inking my brush because I don't want it real dark. I'm going to need a little bit. So I'm going to rub off some just so it's not so bright. And that's giving me a little bit of ink right on the edge of the card too, which is good. It's darker there than it is on the paper behind it, which is nice. And then the back side might look more green because of the yellow. Yellow tiles. And that's hanging off, so it's kind of given me the edge of the card underneath it, which is fine. It makes it look like a ruffle that's attached instead of just the paper continuing beyond the edge. In fact, what I should have probably done is layered some lace in between those two. Maybe the next time I do one, that's what I'll do. Layer some lace in between the 2 pieces of paper. And then do I want a blue button there? Is that the wrong? That's more periwinkle. I don't have a lot of teal buttons. I could use a metallic one. Or some other little charm, maybe. I know I have a Tree of Life charm handy. Let's use it. I used one of these the other day on camera, but I'll show you again how I use them. So this has a bunch more, basically a bunch more love quotes. Yeah, what is love but a beacon, blah, 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 blah. So I'll keep that. Probably should put it in my Valentine's box, but we talk about love all year long, do we not? So what I do with these, this is an earring that I made when I was doing jewelry more so than paper crafting, which I did for about 20 some years. Still do. I have all the stuff. I just have been concentrating on this instead. So I just take my pliers and back and forth a couple of times. It comes right off. These are not real silver. They're what they term the name's not coming to me. What do they call them? Alloy. It's a zinc alloy. So they're not as strong as some other metals, but inexpensive. So I did a lot of earrings with them. They're silvery and pretty when you get them, and then they gradually oxidize, which doesn't bother me. I like aged metal, probably even more than bright metal. But I'm just taking an emery board, a fairly coarse one, and taking off the rough edges from where I tore off that loop. Now, if you wanted to leave the loop, or if you weren't able to get the loop off, You could always just tie a little something in there, like a little bit of string, and just have it as a tassel. That would work too. I'm just wanting to put this somewhere in here as another little accent. Kind of have three things with the rose here. And I've got the three things with J, flower, B, and up here I've got the quote and the button and the tassel. So this is kind of all on its own, but maybe I'll put it, oh, I was going to use that button. This was to replace the button. So that's my third thing for this little cluster. And we got this little cluster, and we got this little cluster. That's enough clusters. But I think what I want to do is glue this down with the 3-in-1 because it's metal. And I know the tacky glue won't really work very well on it. So I'm just going to be careful and do just a few dabs on the thicker parts like the tree trunk. And then out towards the edges. I'll do all the way around the edge. It's going to touch the paper before the branches. So I want to make sure I get the edge covered. And then I'm also going to put a little blob of that glue that it can sort of set into. It's clear, so it'll be fine. And I want it to go kind of on the same plane as those letters. Oh, I really like that. That could have been a Valentine's project. It's not pink and red, but it's about love and us. So very cute. Very cute. I didn't make hubby a Valentine card this year, which I think he was a little disappointed. So maybe I'll present him with this today. And what I might need to do just to make the J and the B stand out is go around it with a black marker. So I showed this marker the other day. I was using it on the paint swatches that I did. And I just love this marker. I don't know where I got it, but I just love it. Now, this could be the ruin of this project, but I'm going to just go around and just gently, should have inked these in black instead of blue. Just so that you can see them, because you can't really see them. That's better. It's a permanent marker. I just love the way it writes. I'm keeping that one close by. So that looks a little better with them in black. So I hope you've enjoyed this little project. I had originally started out thinking I was going to do this one to include with Wanda's napkin package. But Wanda, because it ended up being a J and B, it's not coming to you, but maybe I'll do you one anyway. So if you've liked this video and you like to see little craft projects like this, collaging and multimedia, mixed media projects, do subscribe to my channel, share it with a friend who you think would also like it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Most of all, have a great day, have fun, and happy crafting.